Guys, what's up? Welcome to the Above the Rim Basketball Podcast. This is the first episode of the podcast. I'm Zig, that's Jump, and we're going to get in and we're going to talk some New York Knicks today. The Knicks have been on a crazy rise through that Eastern Conference, really stepping it up, and that's a lot of it's thanks to Julius Randle, man. He's just been killing it this season. What are your thoughts on the Knicks, Jump, man?
I think they have a great young roster, man. A lot of people have been talking about the rise of the Knicks. I absolutely believe in this team, and they have one of my favorite young players that's playing down there right now. And I can't even remember the young guy's name.
RJ Barrett, maybe?
Not RJ Barrett, but
Julius Randle.
Julius Randle. No, I can't remember. Emmanuel Quickly. There we go. Emmanuel Quickly.
Okay.
Yeah, he's one of my favorite players right now down there. And like you said, but Julius Randle has been doing great as well. He's averaging 23 points, and he's an all-star reserve this year, which is a great thing for the Knicks. Are actually getting back on the map. So a lot of young players, man. I love what I'm seeing from them.
Yeah, man, it's great to see this Knicks team doing well. You know, both teams in New York City now stepping up. It's always great to see basketball picking back up in the Mecca, right? This is where everything began. Especially seeing some. It'd be really nice to see some playoff games in Madison Square Garden again, because that place gets hyped. That place is crazy. And yeah, man, it's awesome. Like Randall right now, like you were just saying, 23 points a game, over almost 11 rebounds a game too. He's just been killing it. He's had some monster games for this Knicks team. And as of just a few days ago, they had themselves up into that fourth spot in the Eastern Conference. And it's been a long time since the Knicks have even been talked about as a playoff team, let alone kind of starting to climb up towards that top three, right?
Yeah, definitely, man. Julius Randle is definitely a force to be reckoned with. His career was kind of going, downhill until he found himself in this team, and it's kind of picked up his career back up, man. He's averaging great numbers, and he has a great supporting cast in RJ Barrett. He's averaging 16.4 points a game, and a lot of young players, and they added the veteran Derrick Rose, who's averaging 12 points a game as well. So they add a lot of great pieces. I was kind of suspicious when they wanted to add Derrick Rose. They had him in the past. I'm like, why are they picking him up? They already have a couple of young guys, but it seems like it's paying off, and they're doing pretty well. They're currently 18-18 right now, just right at 500. So it's looking great.
Yeah, man, they're they just climbed up top of the Raptors there in the standings. They're making the right moves. I don't know if it's necessarily James Dolan that's kind of responsible for this. We all know he's kind of one of the worst owners in the league, but lately they've been starting to make, better moves in the draft and everything else, and they're really starting to build this team the right way. They're just not trying to buy these pieces. They're starting to grow the team from within, and that was the way I really think is the way our organization should be grown. You can't just force guys in there, and sometimes it doesn't work. At least if you have young guys, you have you're not spending as much money, and you get to see how guys develop. Now, if that team starts to go in the right direction, and you think that you need that extra piece to get you over the top, that makes sense to me to do it if you go and make a move for somebody, but not just to try to buy your way into the top right away, especially with the Knicks team that has that owner that nobody really likes, and it's hard for them to get free agents over there right now, especially with the team in the basement now that they're doing better. And if they keep this up for a year or two, they might be able to start drawing more guys in over there.
Yeah, man, I agree with all the different points that you've made, saying that they shouldn't force any of these guys to come play. What they have right now is great, and hopefully they don't ruin it, man. You know how the Knicks are in the past with kind of ruining some of the players they put together. Hopefully they keep this young roster together. It seems like they love playing with each other. And every time I watch a New York Knicks game, I'm actually intrigued. I actually want to watch to the end. So it's beautiful what they're doing right now. Hopefully they can keep it together, and hopefully they learn from some of the mistakes they made in the past.
Yeah, definitely. And, kind of touch on your Derrick Rose point. It's a good thing to have a guy like that, man. That guy has done a lot in the league. He's an MVP, former MVP. And it's just good to have a veteran present around. That guy has had to work so hard to get back to where he's at right now. He's gone through so many injuries. His knees seem to get blown out. Every time you turn your head, he's back down on the floor. And right now he's been able to stay healthy. I remember that game in Minnesota when he dropped 50. And that was a really big night for Derrick Rose. Remember him being in tears on the floor, and just to be able to see him climb that ladder and get back to a certain level of success. He's never going to be that same guy that he was in Chicago, but it's good to see Derrick Rose kind of having a smile on his face again and being able to stay on the floor and enjoy the game.
Yeah, definitely agree, man. One thing I've always said, man, I wanted to see Derrick Rose at least one time in his career win an NBA championship. He's been through so much trials and tribulations, and he's never given up. Man, he's kind of a role model for me, just in life, and type of person I want to be. He's doing great. Every role that he's taken in the NBA, he's taken seriously. He's never complained, never pitted for himself. He's always come out, played basketball, did his job, and has always carried his teammates and never let any of his teammates down. And I feel like he's like the soul of this team now. Carrying these young players and kind of. And I feel like most of these players kind of look up to him because a lot of these players were young when he was in the league, and the youngest MVP in the NBA. So a lot of these players kind of look up to him. And Derrick Rose, man, he humbles these players, and he humbles me as well. Just seeing all the things that he's went through and the success he's having with the Knicks now.
Yeah, definitely, man. I think you said for sure a role model on that team. It shows a lot of these young guys on that Knicks team that they can't take anything for granted, right? They've seen the rise and fall of this guy, all in a very short period of time. Your life in the NBA as a player is as short as it is, and you have to take advantage of the moments that you get and the opportunities that you get. And I think Derrick Rose being on this team can really kind of relay that message to some of these young guys to keep them in check and let them know, man, hey, this will all end one day. You have to take advantage of these opportunities when they're in front of you.
Definitely, I agree with all of it, man, without a doubt. And they have the young rookie Obi Toppin as well. I feel like he has a lot of potential. He's not averaging crazy numbers right now, but I think he picked up a few injuries in the past, but he's been doing great as well. They just have a lot of different pieces as well, man. So I'm loving what I'm seeing. Kevin Knox as well. So it's great to see the Knicks on the rise again, man.
Yeah, man. I'm also, a big fan of RJ Barrett, Canadian kid, and he's really stepping up, man. Like he's coming into his own here. He's not kind of in the same class as Zion right now, but RJ does more on the floor than Zion. Zion's kind of just that mad paint presence, and they're coming up together through everything, through college, and now entering the draft in the same season. RJ Barrett getting over 16 points a game now, starting to rebound the ball a lot better. You're starting to see some growth out of RJ. And you can really tell that he's going to really kind of find his stride here really soon in this league. It takes time for players to get used to the speed, the strength, and everything to go on with this NBA game. And especially when it comes to, college, you don't play that many games a season. Now you're going straight into the NBA and you're starting to play 82 games a year. This year, only 72. It's a condensed season.
Mm-hmm.
But, sometimes it takes these guys a little bit of time to get adjusted to be playing that many games, having to keep their body right. And I'm liking what I'm seeing out of RJ so far.
Yeah, I agree with all your points, man. That's the issue I have with some of the media labeling some of these young players the bust just after one season. It doesn't make sense. A lot of these players, it takes them a lot of time to get adjusted to the NBA, the speed of the NBA, and just kind of the force and the physicality that they're putting in the NBA throughout, whether it was 81 games or 72 games this season. It's a lot of work, and it takes a lot of time to get used to. You're coming from high school playing, a decent amount of games, college where you're only there for a year, or sometimes some players get injured and they forego their the rest of the season and come straight into the NBA, and it takes a lot of time to get used to it. So, and I'm loving what I'm seeing from RJ Barrett, man. He hasn't given up on his career. He's averaging 16, like you said, and he has a bright future, man. Obviously his co-partners like Zion and John Morant have kind of exploded, off of their first year, but I feel like he's kind of taking his time, and I feel like he'll be a star in the NBA someday for sure.
Oh, for sure, especially in that Knicks team, right? You're in New York City. If that team starts to take off, his star is just going to rise and rise and rise. That's a huge basketball market. I think they're the most valuable team in the NBA right now. So that definitely comes into effect as well. And to hit on that other point, man, I remember Draymond last week or the week before when he went on that rant about the owners and the double standards and stuff. He made the point about young guys coming in the league and being labeled a bust sometimes, and they don't even get the chance to do it. For a lot of young guys, when you come in a bad situation on a losing team, you learn bad habits, right? That's why you see teams that are winning, like say the Raptors over the last few years, the Golden State Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
All of their draft picks seem to really develop quickly, and they pick up good habits. Good, like when you're on a losing team, sometimes you just start stuffing the stat sheet just to try to get your numbers up. You're not really getting into it on the defensive end. But when you're on a winning team and you have that extra incentive to get back on defense and really play the game the right way, you learn those good habits, and it only helps you in your maturation throughout your career.
Yeah, I definitely do agree with you, man. And Draymond had he made a lot of points in that little rant that he had that a few weeks ago. And I definitely do agree, man. You got to give these young players a lot of time, and I agree with every single points that you've made. Like you said, man, RJ Barrett, he's doing his thing. and I love the progress that these players make. And the media, I feel like the media puts so much pressure on these young players. They're 18, 19 years old coming into the league, and they have to deal with all the pressure from coaches, organizations, the media, and it's just a ton of pressure, man. It's a ton of pressure, and I possibly can understand the type of pressure they're dealing with, and it takes a lot of time to deal with that and just kind of build yourself. And they're between the age of a teen and turning into young men, and it just their brain is still developing. So I mean, it just takes time. And if you look, even if you look at Stephen Curry, the Golden State Warriors were looking to trade him like the first 2 years of his career because of the ankle injuries, and they were ready to let him go, and they kept him and they got lucky, and he turned into the player he is right now. But they have to deal with the injuries and the just traveling and all the other different stuff, and you got to give some of these players a lot of time to just kind of get adjusted to that and just get over the hump, and they turn into stars like Stephen Curry and Trey Young and all those guys. So definitely.
Oh, definitely agree with you, man. Like I said, man, sometimes these young guys just get crucified. They come in on a losing team. The team doesn't automatically, they're not the savior that the team and the fans expect them to be right out of the gate. And then they get labeled as a bust, and it's hard for them to ever drop that label. You see guys come into the league. Anthony Bennett, for example, from the
Mm-hmm.
Cavaliers a couple years ago, was the first overall pick in the draft. He had a rough start over the first 2 seasons, and he's gone. He's not even in the league
Right.
anymore. A guy that had that much potential, just they didn't give him a chance. He didn't mature fast enough, and they didn't even give him a chance to stay in the league. You
Right.
see how many guys throughout this league that don't get minutes, sit on the bench, that are probably worse players than Anthony Bennett would have been, but he just never got the opportunity. He never really excelled right away like they wanted him to, and that's just a wasted pick in my opinion, because you don't give these guys a chance to develop and really see what they can be. It's not going to happen overnight for everybody. Not everybody is a Damian Lillard
Yeah.
or a Kobe Bryant or a Michael Jordan that's just going to come in out of the league and just start busting people's asses, right?
Definitely, it does take time for these players to get used to the system, and some players they just gotta find the right system. I mean, if you look at guys like Andrew Wiggins and with the system he is right now in Golden State, he's kind of reviving his career, and he's doing better for himself. When he first came to the NBA, he had a lot of expectations on his shoulders, and a lot of people were comparing him to guys like when he came to the NBA, guys like LeBron James and stuff like that. And it's just hard for some of these players to kind of live up to those type of expectations. Same thing going for Zion Williamson. These are LeBron. The things, some of the things that he's achieved, I don't think anyone's ever going to achieve. And so it's kind of hard when you already put these, the weight of those type of things on these young players that are 18 years old, and you give them 1 year to kind of meet all those expectations. It's not going to work out very well. So I
Yeah,
definitely
man.
do agree with all that, man. And I mean, it's gonna continue to be that way. I feel like the media is the number one reason why all these things happen. I feel like the media is never gonna disappear from sports. So I feel like the trend is gonna continue, and hopefully, the NBA the organizations kind of relax on the hype that comes with these players and just let them progress and let them become better players as men and just as athletes as well.
Yeah, I totally agree, man. Like I said, sometimes it just takes a little bit of time. Maybe to get on to something else here. What about the All-Star weekend, man? What are you kind of looking forward to this weekend? I know you weren't a big fan of them going through with the game period,
Yeah.
but kind of what is the event that you're looking forward to most?
The event that I'm looking forward to the most, I probably would say the 3 point contest, the dunk contest. Now, I feel like Zion Williamson is not going to participate, and I don't have any reason. I don't know the reasons why he's not going to participate, and I feel like most of it's probably due to COVID. A lot of these players, don't want to pick up COVID and put their organization or their teams in these tough predicaments. But usually, I look forward to the 3 point line and the 3 point contest or the dunk contest, and it's not look. I mean, I don't know the contestants that are in, but I was looking forward to Jaw and hopefully Zion Williamson being in it. So I'm kind of disappointed that that's not happening. But I mean, so
Yeah,
that's yeah.
yeah, the dunk contest, man. It's a lot of young guys. The one that really looks good so far is the 3 point shootout. That one is kind of loaded with a little bit more stars, a little bit more high caliber guys that you want to see do things. Plus, that's one of my favorite events, anyways. You
Yeah,
don't have all the flash and flare. It's just guys getting it done and putting on a display of their shooting ability, right?
yeah, definitely.
You got Steph Curry in it this year, Zach LaVine, Tatum and Brown. Just
I'm
there's
surprised
it's
that
just,
Damian Lillard is not. Is Damian Lillard not in the 3 point contest?
I don't believe that he is, man. I'm looking
Wow.
for the who's in it right now. Those are just some of the guys that I knew. I'm trying to find the list to
Wow.
see who is actually in it. But it is a uh, pretty stacked format here that they got going on. Like there's a lot of good high level players in it. We got Devin Booker in it, Jaylen Brown, Steph Curry, Zach LaVine, Donovan Mitchell, and
Donovan
Jason
Mitchell.
Tatum. So we got a good lineup in that one. Now I don't know how they're going to do it, what kind of format they're going to do it. The All-Star game itself should be kind of fun if the players do kind of put the effort in like they did last season. They're going to do the same format as last season, where every quarter, kind of whoever wins that quarter will go to charity, and then they'll have a set score at the end, and whoever reaches that will win the game. But
Yeah.
last year, the All Star game was pretty entertaining for an All Star game. They're never really the most competitive, but that
Agreed.
one last year was the most competitive one that there has been in a while. I'll be doing a stream for that too, so I'll definitely be checking it out. Hopefully, I'll have a few people in there watching it with me. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, man, for me, the one I'm looking forward to the most would be the 3 point contest.
Yeah, the All Star game is gonna be a lot of fun. I'm loving the new style that they went with all the different rules. It actually makes it kind of competitive since they're doing it for charity, and a lot of these players want to win it for their charities. So I loved the All Star game last year. I was glued in. I felt like it was one of the best events in the All Star week, even though the dunk contest was pretty insane itself. So I'm loving what they did with that, and I can't wait till they already picked out have the captains picked out their players for the All Star for All Star.
I don't believe so. It's probably here real soon. I'm not sure the exact date. It might be possibly tonight or tomorrow.
Yeah,
Uh,
and
that that would
yeah,
be interesting. It's just a shame that Kevin Durant is
yeah,
uh, a captain of those teams, and he's not even going to be able to play. He gets to pick a team, but not play in the game himself. So that's a little bit of a letdown. But it is what it is. We have to move on. KD is injured, and they don't want to risk him getting hurt any
yeah.
worse than he is. And I understand that.
I agree with that as well. But other than that, I'm still looking forward to it. It should be a fun game. Hopefully the dunk contest surprises me. Hopefully we have an entertaining dunk contest. But other than that, man, the All Star Weekend isn't as hype as it was last year, obviously due to COVID and the fans not being able to go. So, but I'm still looking forward to it, and hopefully we have a fun time this weekend.
Yeah, it's going to be definitely be different, a dunk contest with no fan reaction or nothing like that. So, a guy can throw down the most insane dunk in the
Yeah,
world, and there's only going to be like what, maybe 30, 40 people in there, coaches and players, and it's going to be different
yeah,
for the reactions and stuff. But it should still be fun. And the dunk contest itself has started to come back to life here over the last couple of years with Gordon, Levine, and others just kind of throwing down those mean dunks. Unfortunately, some guys aren't able to get the win. Sometimes they get ripped off, in my opinion. But we'll see how it goes this season.
yeah. Definitely
Um,
looking
oh,
forward
go
to it.
ahead.
And I think the contestants are, I can't even pronounce some of these names. I think Furnace Simmons, he plays for the Trailblazers, and then Cassius Stanley. I think he has some pretty good balance. I've seen him play in college. He looks like he can get up there, and then Obi Toppin as well. So we'll see a lot of young guys, a lot of young guys.
Yeah, and then you also got the skills challenge. That one has some pretty big names in that one too. Covington, Luka Doncic, Chris Paul, Randall, Sabonis, and
Oh yeah,
Vucevic. So there's a little bit more star power in that. I just wish the Stars would get back into that dunk contest like back in the day, like guys like Vince Carter. Those guys were at the height of
yeah,
their career, and they would go in there and just kind of throw down the most nasty
yeah,
stuff. That's what we wanted to see, and it's kind of disappointing. I think the
yeah,
guy that kind of started this whole sitting out the dunk contest was LeBron. Everybody always wanted to see LeBron get into that dunk
right.
contest, especially back early in his career, and it just never happened. Now we're not getting Zion this season. Hopefully, sooner or later, man, some of these stars will try to get back in and try to really bring this dunk contest back to that level that it could be at, because that's who you want to see, man. You want to see the
Yeah.
premier players doing what they do and throwing down some nasty stuff.
Yeah, agreement. I'll never understand why LeBron's never been in a dunk contest. That just to me doesn't make any sense. Around the hype that he's had and some of the craziest, warm up dunks that he's had in his past is just crazy to me. And I hope Zion Williamson does not turn into that. Hopefully someday he gets into a dunk contest. And I really also want to see John Moran in a dunk contest. He has a
Yeah.
crazy amount of bunnies. I'd love to see him in a dunk contest with Zion Williamson. That would be absolutely insane. It would do great for the NBA All Star ratings as well.
Oh, for sure. And especially if those guys, at some point they're both going to be in the All-Star game anyways, so they're already going to be there for
Right.
All-Star weekend. They might as well just jump into that contest and show everybody what they got. So I understand that's to some point because some players are just better in-game dunkers. They don't really have the flash and the flair or the
Right.
imagination to kind of create the stuff like nowadays. Because nowadays it's so much more theatrical. Back in the 80s and
Yeah.
90s with Jordan and Kobe and all them guys were in it. It was more just let's just throw down something nasty, jump from the foul line, show off our hops.
Yeah.
And now it's good. You got to jump over people. You got to bring in cars and throw it off the backboard. Three
Yeah.
different basketballs, raise the net to 12 feet. It's so much different than it used to be back then. But I'd still like to see some of these young guys and stars jump in.
Definitely, I definitely agree with you, man. A lot of theatrics, a lot of just crazy stuff. I feel like Aaron Gordon and Zach LaVine kind of revived the dunk contest just a little bit. Just the excitement and just the amount of hang time and bunny, especially from Zach LaVine, man. It was just beautiful. And a lot of people are gonna say that Aaron Gordon was robbed, but I mean it's just so hard, watching that dunk contest to pick which dunk was the greatest. But in my honest opinion, I did feel like last year Aaron Gordon did get snubbed big time, big time.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
we'll have to see. We'll have to see what happens in the future, though, for sure.
Who did get the win last year? Was it airplane mode, Jones Jr.?
Yes, it was
Yeah,
Jones Jr.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Yeah, I thought that's who it was. I remember D Wade was one of the judges, and he's a Heat guy, and he was on the Heat at the time, and there was some talk
Yeah.
about that. But it kind of is what it is. I don't. Is there anything else you want to kind of touch on in this first episode of the Above the Rim Basketball Podcast? Man, this is going to be hopefully our new platform for this kind of thing. So, if there's anything else you want to add at all, man, let's get it in there now.
I guess we can talk about the Raptors just a little bit because I know I have a lot of Raps fan supporters on my channel. You do as well.
Yeah,
We
for
can just
sure.
kind of touch on that a bit, and then hopefully in our next podcast we can talk about a lot of different things as well.
Yeah, man, the Raptors kind of going through it right now with all this COVID and safety protocol stuff. There's definitely some stuff to talk about the Raptors right
Yeah.
now. The word is, man, it was kind of coming from the coaching staff not wearing their mask and not really taking the proper precautions behind the scenes, pulling their mask down to talk and yell or wearing it around their chin a lot, doing the old chin diaper thing, and it kind of is like this is not a good look for the coaching staff and Nick Nurse, right? Now they're saying these guys that are out right now, from what I'm hearing, it's positive test. So, Fred Van Fleet, Pascal Siakam, OG, those guys are like three of the starters on this team, and now you're shorthanded coming up to the break with some games that matter. If they would have won last night, they would have been able to stay where they're at and then be able to have a game play
Yeah.
Boston tonight, and that could have catapulted them up the standings even further. Boston is just sitting in front of them, and that could have been a really big game tonight. Now they're going to have to go against the Celtics shorthanded.
Yeah, that's really tough, man. And I'm surprised that the coaches are the ones that are kind of doing this thing. It just doesn't seem, very professional. And it's gonna be tough, man. Hopefully these guys can recover fast, and hopefully they're all doing okay. And I hope they're taking the proper precautions in order to stay safe. It's gonna be tough, you guys took that loss to the Pistons last night, and I felt like if you guys had your full roster, I mean that would have been an easy W. But I mean, we'll just have to see what happens, man. I think NBA should start taking drastic measures with the coaches that are not taking the right measures to in order to be safe around these basketball players. Because at the end of the day, these basketball players are what makes these games happen. So it's sad to see that, man. It's sad to see that, but hopefully they can do better in the future, man.
Yeah, well, this is definitely, should shed some light on some of this stuff too, man. And they have to be accountable for what happened. And hopefully they'll learn from it. Losing that game to the Pistons last night should not have happened. If it was
Right.
the big thing was is the Pistons were just nailing three after three after three earlier. I think they went 9 for 11 from 3 point
Jeez.
land in the first quarter. Like that's hard to come back from, right?
Right.
And the big thing is you got Siakam, who's a long, good perimeter defender. OG is probably the best defender on the team. And then Fred Van Fleet leads the league in steals. That's a huge chunk of your defense
Yeah.
out. And if you can't play defense against a team that's knocking down threes like that, it's hard to stay in a game,
Right.
especially when you don't have your normal guys. Norman Powell went off. He had 36 points, put the team on his shoulders, but it's still
Right.
not enough. You still need those other guys out playing defense on getting into it on that end of the floor. That was the big difference in that game. They just couldn't shut anything down. Anytime the Raptors made a run, Detroit just answered back, hitting threes or hitting big shots right back and stopping those runs in their tracks.
Yeah, man, I definitely do agree. Hopefully they can get these players back, man. And there's a lot of rumors still going around about this trade deadline that's coming up with Kyle Lowry. The media seems like they just can't let this story go, man. I feel like they're saying that he's gonna go to Philadelphia, but I doubt it. They don't have any assets, or the Philadelphia 76ers don't have anything that the Raptors are looking for. What's your take on that situation?
With Kyle Lowry right now, man, I'm kind of up in the air. Uh, if Masai doesn't move him, it's not the end of the world right now because they can always kind of work out something at the end of the year for a sign and trade, possibly, which I think may be one of the options that they're kind of leaning towards. Sign Kyle Lowry, get him another contract, and then trade him away. You can still use him for the rest of this season, see how it plays out, how it develops. That also gives Lowry more time to make a decision if he wants to stay in Toronto or not. And he loves the city, he loves the team, but he's going to be 36 next year. He
Yeah.
probably does want another chance at a chip. So if Kyle does decide to leave, you can't be mad at him. He's done so much for the franchise, turned this team into what they are right now, and he's really done a good job mentoring up Fred VanVleet. Fred VanVleet has really kind of rose to become a leader on this team, and if Kyle Lowry steps down, I think it will be pretty much a seamless transition for Fred to step up and take that leadership role.
Yeah, I definitely do agree. A sign and trade would be best for Kyle Lowry if he wants to play out the rest of the season. They're going to be, obviously, like you said, losing a guy that's a leader and that's a veteran for the squad. But I feel like wherever Kyle Lowry goes, I feel like he's going to be very successful. And I can't wait to see what they end up doing. I know there's been a lot of talks about this situation in the NBA, and it's been going on for a very long time. But I just wanted to cover that. So
Yeah,
I
yeah, for
think this is the
sure.
last topic that I wanted to cover. Unless you have anything else you want to talk
Well,
about.
I was just going to throw in the LA Clippers in there as a possible destination for Kyle
Oh, okay.
Lowry too, because there's the Kawhi and Serge connection over there. That team really needs a legit point guard. They don't
Yeah.
really have anybody that can run the ball up the floor and kind of control stuff. A lot of that is put on to Kawhi and PG right now. Who else are they going to give it to? Is it going to be, Lou Williams, who's coming off the bench? Yeah, sure, he can do it, but he's a score first guy.
Yeah.
He's not really a guy that's going to be looking to kind of make everybody else better. And then Patrick Beverly. Patrick Beverly's not really the best guy
Yeah.
at getting the rest of his team into the game as well. So a guy like Lowry, I think, would fit well on that team, especially with the connections that he has with the other guys on that Clipper squad. But other than that, man, yeah, I think that is pretty much all I was kind of really wanted to get at here today.
For sure. Yeah, I definitely do agree with that take, man. I think he'd be a great fit for that team. And we'll just have to see what the Raptors do and what Messiah does, man. But whatever he does, man, hopefully it's something, and hopefully it's something that's great for the organization.
Yeah, man, no doubt. I think we're going to end it here, guys, man. Thank you guys for tuning in. This has been the first episode of the Above the Rim Basketball podcast featured Zig and Jump. Hope you guys enjoyed it, man. Hope to see you guys back again next time. This is a new channel, so make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and also check out Jumpman's channel. It's Jumpman, Jumpmaan. He does a lot of reaction videos. He's kind of transitioned away from some of that stuff. So let
Yeah.
them know kind of where the new direction you're taking your channel and Jump.
Yeah, it's just a lot of reaction videos that I've been doing that, and it's kind of hard to do these reactions videos since the NBA copyrights a lot of my content, and sometimes my content even gets blocked. So I have no control over what gets blocked, what gets copyrighted. So I've been trying to transition into, like, I'll do shorts, YouTube shorts here and there, which is a new platform that YouTube has. Or I've just been doing reactions to, like, the NBA history and just like the history around the basketball players that are playing right now. A lot of different things, a mixture of a lot of different things, and just mostly basketball related.
For sure, man. And also, guys, you guys can check out my channel. It's the fourth quarter. I got live streams going on every single night, man. Usually one, maybe sometimes two games a night. Check it out, man. Hop in those streams, say hello. Don't be afraid to get in that chat as well. I also do some recaps. But I'm more kind of leaning to kind of keeping the channel towards more live streams, maybe some NBA mixed videos and stuff like that. But if you guys want to check it out, man, I'd really appreciate it. So make sure you guys hop over there and hit subscribe. Also subscribe to this new channel, man. This one is going to be kind of our podcast platform. I hope you guys really enjoy it, start to take to it, and I hope this channel can grow pretty quickly, man. Our other two channels are really starting to do pretty well. So hopefully this one will kind of follow that same trend and move in that right direction as well.
Definitely agreed.
So anyways, guys, thanks for watching, man. We will see you again next time. This is the Above the Rim podcast, and we are out. Peace.